Coming up tonight on Patriots Unfiltered on TV. Offense was the fuel that propelled the Patriots to the playoffs. But in their first playoff game, it was the defense that dominated. See how he runs. With his air attack struggling, Drake May used his legs to set up the pass. Also tonight, charged up, the electric atmosphere greeting the Patriots at Gillette.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Toyota's official website for deals.
And the big dogs come out in January.
Hey. I love y'all boys, man. Hey, we ain't done yet. Hey, pass on me. Pass on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pass.
The big dogs came out. They were loud, they were mean, and they pummeled the Chargers in the first home playoff game in Foxborough in 6 years. Hello again, everyone. I'm Alex Francisco, and this is Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
The Patriots were not expecting to change the mac and cheese, their winning recipe, but it was a reunited defense that unplugged the Chargers. Let's huddle up with Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault.
This season across the NFL, not much has gone as expected. That was very much the case for the Patriots in a rock fight of a win over the Chargers, a game that many anticipated would probably be a shootout. Paul, Mike, it's important to win these games in different ways, but did any of us anticipate a defensive shutdown?
The two guys who said don't expect a rock fight in the first half at the end of the pregame show, I don't think so.
I believe I said it's not like it's going to be 6-3 at the half.
No.
Check's notes, it was 6-3 at the half.
No, it was surprising, and the Patriots, they kept fighting, they found a way, and I think that's the theme of playoff games, is that you don't know how it's going to go, and you've got to come down to the end and maintain focus and make the plays down at the end. Of course, that's what they did with Drake May finding Hunter Henry, finally got some separation, and then they were able to close it out with an outstanding defensive performance.
I think it's a really good sign that the team is finding different ways to win, and I didn't, if you had told me before the game that that's the way the game was going to unfold, I would have said really big-time advantage for the Chargers. That's the kind of game they wanted to play. For the Patriots to be able to win a game like that, as Mike said, a rock fight, I think that really bodes well going forward. Now you know you can win when you're putting 30 on the board. You can win when you're holding the team to 3. That gives you a lot of confidence.
Flowers for Zach Core, I think, a little bit. I mean,
big time.
Just the way he stepped up all season, but
Yeah.
what about his game plan against the Chargers was so effective?
I think what stood out to me was just, of course, Milton Williams, super disruptive. You see why they went out and got him this year. But I think at times when we've seen the Patriots defense struggle a little bit, they've been out of sync, and they've been, guys are getting out of their gap integrity, and it's opening up holes. And I just thought they played really well as a whole defensively. And yes, that goes back to Zach Core, his game plan, selling his defense on what the plan is and making sure the players understand it.
The Patriots haven't been great at getting pressure by just force. So Zach Core had some different things in store. I thought they ran some stunts with linebackers, defensive backs, and everything they dialed up, especially in the second half, worked. And then the coverage, I thought, was a little bit tighter in this game than we've seen. And we kind of talked about this, Alex, during the course of the season. Would we see a different version of Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis? Would these guys be a little tighter in coverage? And I think at least for the one playoff game that we had a chance to see, the answer was yes. I thought they were better in this game than we've seen for the most part.
The Chargers got that early interception, I think, on their second drive of the game, and then you see the defense make 4 straight stops in the red zone. They forced the turnover on downs. How much momentum did they get from that stop?
Great sign when you're able to get off the field, and I mean, it's such a momentum shift, and as we're going to see here throughout these playoffs, every point is vital. All these games are coming down to the vital end. Those red zone stops were critical.
You immediately fall behind, and I think you immediately start to question yourself. Instead, you get this huge lift with not only holding them to 3 on a first and goal from the 10, but you hold them to 0 because Jim Harbaugh doesn't take the points, Mike, like you have been preaching in these tight games, especially early on. And I thought the defense you could see get a lot of confidence from that.
I think the Chargers defense had a pretty good game too, unfortunately. Their offense, it was just a matter of that one play, right? But what did they do to really disrupt Drake May in his first playoff game?
I think they were just sound. They took away the deep ball. I mean, he only had, I think, 2 passes that he tried to throw down the field. Such a huge part of Drake May's game. I think that big 49-yard or 48-yard game they had where Drake knew pressure was coming. He had already been in his own end zone. I mean, it takes some courage to stand in there while you're standing in your own end zone and deliver the pass to Ramondre Stevenson, who then got them to midfield. So I think it's going to be another theme this week as we get into the Texans.
And Stevenson continues to be, really one of the most reliable players in the team, and certainly on offense. He's been really, really good for 5 or 6 weeks now. And I think that play that Mike talks about is really underrated, because that red zone stop might get mitigated if the Patriots go 3 and out. Instead, on the first play from the 2-yard line, you get a nice little dump down, to Stevenson, who takes advantage of a coverage bust, makes a guy miss, and you get a big chunk play. You flip the field. Now the place is going crazy. You had a little of that old school Gillette Stadium juice, in the crowd. So I thought that juncture of the game was really vital.
How do you guys feel about protection? I thought the left side, the rookies on the O-line got maybe not picked on, but they were definitely targeted.
Yeah, they had some challenging moments for sure. I mean, Will Campbell got pushed back a couple times. There were a couple times where they failed to pick up stunts, and that's something that they're going to, again, have to work on this week against the Texans. They're going to see more of the same of that kind of stuff. So, Jared Wilson coming back from a concussion, had missed a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. We were wondering, would he slip right back in there?
Brown was playing kind of well.
Or might they consider Ben Brown? I don't know. I think first playoff game for 2 rookies, you hope that they're going to learn a lot from it.
Those 2 rookies struggled a little bit. Khalil Mack is a savvy veteran who I thought had Campbell on roller skates on a handful of plays. They will need to be better, because the challenge will be tougher with the front that Houston's going to bring.
A lot's been made of the strength of schedule this year. It's been a knock on the Patriots all season. Is this game kind of a little bit of validation?
I don't really care, Alex, to be honest. I just am to the point where the Patriots are a good football team, and you can look at what their schedule is, and yes, it is what it is. It's historically easy, but at the end of the day, you win a playoff round in this league, you're a good football team. Now, how good are they? They're going to figure it out here as they get into the Final Four of the AFC, but it proved to me that they're going to be able to win games outside of their comfort zone a little bit. And this is not something, I'm a defense guy. I wasn't expecting to see them come out and play with that kind of energy and that kind of production. So, look, it's all in front of them now. They have another chance, but the schedule stuff, to me, they're a good football team. We'll see how it all comes out in the playoffs.
Still to come on Patriots Unfiltered on TV. The road to the Super Bowl continues when the Texans come to Foxborough. We'll tell you the problems that Houston presents. Evan Lazar breaks down what to watch when the Texans come to Gillette. Trash Talk debates just what the key is for the offense to play better against Houston. Fred Kirsch on Patriot Nation ramping up the volume at Gillette. And I'll go one-on-one with Patriots linebacker Robert Spillane.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports concerts and theater tickets, 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
What's up, everybody? It's Evan Lazar. It is the divisional round edition of the Unfiltered Film Room. We're going to talk about this Texans defense. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's one of the best defenses in football, number 1 in the league in drop back EPA, number 1 in the league in yards allowed, number 2 in the league in scoring. I mean, it's just right across the board. The Patriots are going to have a really big test on Sunday afternoon. So let's talk about how they can attack this defense. And if we start, pause it right here for a second. I want to show you just kind of the standard coverage shell of what Houston likes to run. So they play a lot of quarters defense. That's these 4 deep players across the field. This is at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. So they're going to put an umbrella here on the defense. They usually play with 4 down defensive linemen. They don't blitz a ton. They don't do a whole lot of things that are exotic. So what do the Chargers do here with Justin Herbert? They're going to run a post wheel concept. So they're going to run the big post here. What I really like about what they do here is they run a little thing called a snooze wheel. So Ladd McConkey is just going to kind of slow play his route and kind of snooze there, and then he's going to wheel up the sideline, and they're trying to put this defender in conflict right there. So if we roll the play, you can see how the post runs it off. Ladd McConkey wheels up the sideline, and there's an open receiver down the field there for Justin Herbert in an area of the field that we know Drake May loves to throw at. So that's the Houston Texans defense. It's going to be a big test on Sunday afternoon. Let's hope the Patriots can take advantage.
The stage is set for the Houston Texans and their dominant defense to come to Gillette Stadium for the divisional round. Paul, Mike, knee-jerk reactions to playing Houston?
This defense, to me, is one of these defenses that could take their team all the way to the Super Bowl. They're excellent. They're disruptive. They don't do a lot complex. They just have great athletes, and they're going to come after you.
You know, we just saw a defense with the Chargers that I thought, you know, was very active and really owned the line of scrimmage and played very well. But I think the difference with this team is I think that, first of all, I think they're more explosive up front with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, but also the secondary, I think, is a big separator. You know, Lassiter and Stingley are outstanding and physical, Mike.
Yep.
Two physical corners that want to get involved in the run game and tackle, as well as play, you know, physically in coverage.
Yeah, Petrie in the slot, too. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got a full array. And they don't play a lot of guys, but they all know what they're doing, and they all play fast.
Now, I think the Texans, too, another difference is I'm a little more afraid of that defense's scoring ability than I was for the Chargers. I don't know, how similarly do you attack this defense compared to last week against the Chargers?
I think that every time they take the field, they're a threat to either force a turnover or pick up that turnover and take it to the end zone. Something that absolutely going to be critical in this game is ball security, making good decisions.
Can the Patriots run the ball a little bit?
Yeah.
So Houston isn't able to do what they did to Aaron Rodgers on those 3rd and longs. You know, I think for a lot of that game, the Steelers were 0 for on 3rd down, and that's because it was always 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11. Patriots can't live in those situations. I don't think that's a formula for success against this front. So they need to run the ball with at least some semblance of productivity. Pittsburgh couldn't do it. Can the Patriots, you know, make it 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 9? I think that's a big difference.
Looking at matchups on that side of the ball, is that Patriots O-line versus the Texans front going to be kind of a make or break area of the game?
Well, I'd even take it a step farther and put it on Josh McDaniels, at least to start, of making sure that those guys are protected and not letting, you know, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter blow up the game. They're entirely capable of that. And, you know, what stands out to me is I've jumped into them a little bit. They almost seem to play better when they're behind. So when their offense is on its ropes and they need something, that's when those guys seem to step up and make plays.
And I wouldn't be surprised if McDaniels tries to power up a little bit with an extra offensive line. We've seen Thayer Munford, you know, be a part of this equation. Not so much in the first half against the Chargers. I think we saw a little more of him in the second half. I wonder if that's a way that they might try to run the ball and stay ahead of the chains a little bit in this one. And the other thing that you can't understate is I thought Aaron Rodgers had a couple of opportunities where he did a nice job of avoiding the rush and got outside the pocket, but he's just not Aaron Rodgers anymore when he does that. Obviously, Drake May,
much more mobile.
Yeah, that's a big part of his game. So both as a runner and a big play threat down the field off platform. I think that as good as the Texans secondary is, I think they can be beat over the top.
Speaking of turnovers, C.J. Stroud had quite a few against Pittsburgh, and yet they persisted. I think the Patriots will give them a harder time, that many turnovers.
I mean, you got to think if they do that again that they're going to have a hard time escaping. But when you have a defense like that your quarterback can turn the ball over, then your defense comes out and it's like 3 and out. It didn't even matter.
Yep.
That's a huge way to mitigate those problems. But C.J. Stroud, I'm expecting him to be better. You know, Christian Kirk, a little bit of a connection there going on. Does he have Nico Collins? That's a big question, too, going in.
That's a huge injury for the Texans offense. But, yeah, if Stroud plays the way he did against Pittsburgh, the Patriots are going to win this game.
I'm now joined in the studio by Patriots linebacker Robert Spillane. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
More importantly, welcome back. I can only imagine how much it must have killed you to sit out with the team amid such a great run.
Yeah, anytime you miss games, you feel like you're letting your brothers down, and that's never a place you want to be, so I'm just so happy to be back out there.
How'd it feel to get back on the field for such an important game against the Chargers?
Such an important game. These playoff games are truly special and games that you remember forever, so to be out there and to have such a dominating defensive performance meant the world to me and our defense in total.
You wear the mic for the defense. What was it like to be able to listen to Zach Core call that game?
It was hard to listen because Patriot Nation was standing up, was loud all game, and we thrive off that. We live off that energy as a defense. So no doubt it's loud in there. It's hard to hear, it's hard to communicate, but that's what we live for.
What have some of Zach's strengths been, not only in giving you guys a game plan every week, but making sure you understand and you see the why and you kind of his vision?
I think our coaches really do a great job of getting on the same page before they meet with the players. They spend Monday and Tuesday all day, all night, preparing for those 4 hours of meetings a day. So when we hit those meetings, we hit the ground running. They are fully prepared, ready to execute, ready to give us precise details on each and every call. And then it's our job to go out there and execute them.
Your family's growing. You just had a baby girl. What has this year been like for you personally?
Yeah, having those baby girls, my wife at home. I no longer play football solely for myself. It's not a selfish thing anymore. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a great reputation of the person and the man I am for my younger daughters and my wife. So to go out here and really be embraced by the city, to be embraced by the teammates, it means the world to me. I pour my heart and my soul into playing football, into preparing to be a successful player on the field, into being a good teammate. So when you get that love in return and that respect and that mutual respect that we have in the locker room is really special.
Back to football. You guys have another mobile quarterback you're going to be going against this week with C.J. Stroud. I'm wondering, with that offense, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are you guys really keying in on?
First and foremost, stopping the run. That's our number one goal each and every week. We got to limit their options. If they can run the ball at you each and every way, now it makes play action tough. It makes bootlegs tough. It makes drop back pass tough. CJ is obviously a great player, being a second overall pick, and can do it all with his legs, with his arms, extending plays and making plays all over the field. So for us to be able to go out there, we're going to need to be on point at all three levels. Our D-line's got to get home. Our linebackers got to be great in coverage, great tacklers, and then our back end's got to cover like they have all year.
Well, we hope you guys keep it rolling on Sunday. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
And we'll be back with more Patriots Unfiltered on TV after the break.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. Same seats, better prices. Fans deserve better.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
Playoff football returned to Gillette Stadium on Sunday, and from the sound of it, we kind of missed it. The Foxborough faithful really shifted into high gear after the goal-to-go stop following the Charger interception in the first quarter. LA came away with nothing. The place was rocking. Even Mike Vrabel took notice.
I thought it was amazing. I appreciate the way that our fans have been here, and I appreciate the way that they've traveled, and I can't say enough about it.
I'll be honest, the crowd here isn't always on top of their game. I've traveled to every road game for over 30 years, so I think I'm qualified to judge. And yes, recent seasons haven't given us much to get loud about, at least not for the good stuff. But even during the dynasty, Gillette wasn't one of the places where noise was a big factor. That certainly wasn't the case Sunday. The more the defense showed it wasn't giving in, the more the fans showed their support. Finally, when Drake May broke through with his elite throw to Hunter Henry for the game's only touchdown, the place went berserk. It was great to see and hear. It's a whole new day here in Foxborough. This team has its own vibe and identity from the top down. Maybe we're on the verge of a whole new identity in the stands as well. One where Chowda gets replaced with Louda.
The Patriots know how to put points on the board. They led the AFC in scoring this year, averaging nearly 29 points per game. Yet, against the Chargers, the offense seems stuck in neutral until the fourth quarter. So, how do they fix it against the conference's best defense? Paul and Mike thrash it out in Trash Talk.
It was a bit of a grind for the Patriots offense against the Chargers, but they hung tough. Drake May able to come up with a touchdown at the end to give them some breathing room, Paul. But I think as we look forward to this Texans matchup, they're going to have to be a lot better. Where does it all start?
And it starts up front. You got to have better play, I think, both in the running game. I know you look at the overall rushing total and it looks good because Drake May had almost 70 yards rushing in that game, but conventionally they were, just hovering right around 4 yards a carry. That's not good enough. Up front, the physicality, the pass protection, especially on the left side with the two kids, the two rookies, they need to be better.
Yeah, my hope is that those two kids, but they've just got Jerry Wilson just coming back from a concussion. Will's now played 2 games back, so maybe knocking some rust off. Maybe that playoff experience will help them against this very potent Texans front, Paul. But I also want to talk about Josh McDaniels. Just he's seen it all in these NFL playoffs. He's used to dealing with teams that have prolific pass rushers on the edge. I'm thinking a little of the 2000s Colts team with Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, those kind of things. I think Josh McDaniels can take some steps as well to try to mitigate this pass rush. I don't disagree, though, that it's going to really come down to the offensive line winning their matchups. But I think Josh could get creative and try to exploit some things, and I like what you're saying about Drake with his legs.
So if they're going to be able to do that, the key with those teams was always Tom Brady's ability to analyze and dissect things at a quick level and get the ball out quickly before the rush could get home. I didn't see a lot of guys getting open, very quickly against the Chargers. So I don't know if you have the same kind of personnel that can do that. That's why, to me, it starts up front. But you might be right to look at the rest of it, too. The guys got to do their job. The receivers, I think, have to give Drake some more options.
I think they missed Matt Collins a little bit in that game, too. And, to that point, Kyle Williams stepping up with a big fourth down catch, but still, I think you need more production. You're right. Teams are going to take away Stephon Diggs, right? And you're lucky that you got Hunter Henry downfield for that touchdown. Maybe those ancillary pieces need to be a little bit better, step up. Maybe a guy like Austin Hooper. Of course, he had almost a touchdown with him.
They need to be better offensively because you can't have 9 points going into the, 10 minutes left in the game. It's going to be hard to win another one. Great hats off to the defense for being able to win a different way, but I don't think you want to make a living doing that in the playoffs.
Yeah, can they be better against this elite Texans defense? Find out in predictions after the break.
Now back to Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
This will be the third playoff matchup between the Patriots and Texans. All of them have been at Gillette Stadium, and they've all been Patriots wins so far. So hopefully that streak continues. The Pats are 3-point favorites at home, and the over-under is 40.5. Deuce, how are we feeling?
I think it's going to be a really tough matchup, and I mean, I like it from a fan perspective of the NFL to see, Drake May, an MVP candidate, go against a really good defense, and, Josh McDaniels as well. What does he come up with to try to offset this potent pass rush that these guys have? So I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Points will be at a premium, but I'm going to say the Patriots break 20, just enough to get it done. Patriots 23-17.
I do have a lot of respect for what I saw on defense. Last Monday night against Pittsburgh, they just were swarming to the ball. I think the key will be Drake May's athleticism. Will allow him to make a couple of plays, and that's just enough. I go Patriots 23-20.
I'm with you. Drake May scrambling, maybe a couple design runs, a couple 2-3 deep balls. Patriots 24, Texans 14. So it's not the same exact score, but
It's better for my stress.
There we go. That's going to be it for this playoff edition of Patriots Unfiltered on TV. As always, you can catch the three of us on Patriots Unfiltered on Patriots.com every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from noon to 2 p.m. For Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault, I'm Alex Francisco. We'll hopefully see you next week.